Hello, everybody. This is the Notes and Nostalgia podcast, and I'm your host, Livy Walters. Hi, I'm so glad you're back. This is going to be such a wonderful show. I am beyond excited. Excited is an understatement. So excited. It's just going to be fun. I'm excited to just get into it. So, I hope everybody's been doing good this week. I'm so thankful for the people that listened to the first episode last week, and this is the second. So fun. But if you didn't see, we are doing Michael Jackson this week. Ugh, I'm so excited. It's going to be really, really fun. I, my original plan, everybody, okay, see my vision, and I wanted to execute it. I really did. Throughout this whole entire podcast, I was just going to play like little clips of Michael Jackson going hee hee or Shamona. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And before I started recording, I was like, okay, I should maybe be smart. Would I be copyrighted? And would I have to like take this entire podcast down and re-record it? Yes. Yes, absolutely I would. And there's an incredibly small chance that I could get away with it, but I just thought you guys could do that on your own. But that's an idea for you. I can also do it with my mouth, but it's not going to be the same and it's not going to be as funny and amazing. So, anyway, back to business. Guys, Michael Jackson. I had to seize this opportunity while I could. If I did not, who what are we doing here? A musical history podcast and not doing an episode when there's a biopic? What? So I'm going to start by saying there's no hate for this biopic from me. From me. Not a single amount of hate will be, this will be, I don't do that, guys. But I loved this biopic front, back. It was so well done. Jafar Jackson did an amazing job. So that's Jafar Jackson played Michael, and that's his nephew. So Jermaine Jackson's son, which we'll get into that. But so incredibly sometimes I was like, no, that's Michael Jackson. Guys, where'd you oh, oh, right. But it was so good. My favorite biopic, crazy. I have not seen every biopic, but so far this is my favorite musical biopic, and that's saying something because I do love them. But this is not going to be a diss. It blew my mind. I've seen it as of the day that I'm recording this. I've seen it 3 times, and I already have plans to see it at least 2 other times. So, anyway, it did not disappoint. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, Michael Jackson. I grew up with Michael Jackson, and I think a lot of people, I mean, he is the biggest artist ever. Ever. And I grew up with him, but if I did not mention my sister, I should not do this podcast because my sister Morgan, she, that is the reason I love Michael Jackson as much as I do today. And why I'm seeing it so many times, the biopic so many times, and falling in love all over again with Michael Jackson. I have never met or have been really close to somebody who loves Michael Jackson as much as she does. We were just everything Michael Jackson. I remember there would be times where we would go at our old house. We just listen to his discography or his greatest hits. I guess his history album, probably. Sorry, but I'm making sure you know. Um, and we would just go around our couch and just sing it and scream and just have a blast. We'd sing every song, and it was so fun. We would just go, "Ah, hee hee, shambona," all the time. It was amazing. And guys, the Michael Jackson experience was where it's at. That that was uh if you don't know what the Michael Jackson experience is, get to know it. It is essentially Just Dance, but Michael Jackson. So it's on the Wii, it's on the Xbox. It childhood right there. And Morgan, I am every time I do it with Morgan, I get so angry. I like don't know if I show it, but sometimes I do. Because I literally danced for years of my life. I literally danced and I was like, I'm going to get this. And she would blow me out of the water. She'd be like, she has the highest score. I mean, I guess she did spend a lot more time on it than I did, but she has the highest score in every song. And Thriller, if you look on the level of Thriller in the Michael Jackson experience, it's inhuman. And she can do it not I mean perfectly. She can do it so well. It's cool. Anyway, that was my childhood and Morgan is the reason why I love Michael Jackson. And I've also loved when I announced this podcast and this episode, I loved seeing everybody tell me their stories. Like my roommates, they have a sister named Livy, Sophie and Lucy, that's their names. But they have a sister that's also named Livy, and she was obsessed with Michael Jackson. And I've just been able to hear my friend Gloria and her memories of sitting and her mom dancing to Billie Jean in the kitchen. Like, that's just so fun. And that's what I wanted this podcast to be, where you're able to remember your favorite artists and remember just fun moments and wonderful memories. So that is my memories. But I've always thought Michael Jackson was just this musical genius, and if you listen to his songs, you can see that he just wanted to change the world, and he just wanted to do that through music. That's the way he knew how, and the best way. Oh, it's so good. And it is impossible to cover his whole life in one episode. So I can't do that. So there will be a part 2 of this. I don't know when the part 2 will come. But today, I am going to cover what's in the movie and fill gaps in the movie. Things that they missed, things that they couldn't add because of reasons or of legal stuff, or even just things that they couldn't because there's just so much. I mean, they really covered a lot in the movie already. So that's what I'm doing. I will, of course, be putting references in the description so you can do your own digging. In this episode, I really, really beg you to do your own digging because there's so much, and there's still so much that I'm not able to cover. So yeah, just do your own digging, and also share, comment, and let me know about your favorite experiences with Michael Jackson and who you want to hear next. I definitely want to put on my Instagram like questions for everybody to see what artists you want to hear from, but I had to get this one out before I ask. But also follow the Notes and Nostalgia Instagram. That's where I'm going to be able to connect with you guys the most, and I would love that. So leave a comment, send me a message, like just let me know your favorite things and who you want to hear about next. Okay. Okay, we're doing it. We're going from technically the beginning. Okay. Michael Jackson was one of 10 siblings. Rebby, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Latoya, Marlon, Randy, and Janet, and Michael. There's also Brandon, who sadly passed away when he was born. So I did want to include him because it is a fact about the Jacksons, but Brandon sadly passed away. That's why you don't really hear about him as much. But that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids. Michael was born on August 29th, 1958, in Gary, Indiana. Um, they portrayed that in the movie. I really like that. In the movie, you can see how the Jackson Five was forming and kind of the family dynamic. Um, Many of the Jackson family were represented. Many of the Jacksons, I guess, were represented in the movie, but some of the siblings were not. Randy and Rebby, and notably Janet Jackson. And a lot of people, a ton of people wanted to know, like, why isn't she in the biopic? I mean, even me watching, I was like, why is she not here? And so Latoya Jackson said that she politely declined, geez, quote, politely declined at the film's premiere, but there's no reason as to why she, like, Janet never spoke on why she didn't want to join or be portrayed. Some people, so these are kind of what I've heard on the internet. Some people said that she didn't agree. So she didn't agree with the depiction of Michael and how he was portrayed in the movie. Some say it was because the film didn't portray Joe Jackson, the father, as harsh enough, and that he was a lot worse in real life, which I do believe that that could definitely be a possibility because of interviews that Michael Jackson has done, and also Brooke Shields, who knew Michael Jackson. I'm almost positive they dated. I think they did. Um, that she has had interactions and just calling him, like, honestly a monster, and they did not portray as much of that in the movie. Or the last one, the last, like, speculation was family drama. I mean, you're gonna have that with the Jacksons. And if you want to go do your own digging on that, you totally can. It is pretty interesting. So, some people say that it's because of Randy Jackson and Jermaine Jackson's relationship and their romantic relationships. Just go do your own digging on that. It's incredibly interesting and also crazy. But anyway, all of that is really just rumors and speculations, but I did want to mention that. So moving on, you can see how the Jackson kids, like, grew up, as I said, and the Jackson 5 was formed. So the members of the Jackson 5 were Jackie, Tito, Marlon, Michael, and Jermaine. So there's five. So in the movie, they did show a lot of the younger years of the Jackson 5 and how it was formed and everything. But here's a small breakdown of what they didn't mention or just honestly could not fit into the movie. So, and just to iron a few things out. So, number one, Michael had his first solo record, Got to Be There, at age 14. It was released January 24th, 1972, but he was still with the Jackson 5. So he was under his father's, I guess, everything. And in the movie, it kind of seemed like he just didn't do anything until Off the Wall. That is not true. He did a solo album, but he was super under Joe Jackson and his father's control, which you do see, and that was accurate. But yes, there was a solo album by Michael Jackson in 1972, and it's very good. So go listen to it. The song Ben, which was portrayed in the movie or sang about, Ben was created for a horror movie in 1970, also called Ben. So what I did a little research about this. The movie that the song was written about is actually about a boy befriending a rat, and the rat was like a leader of this colony of rats, and he was like the evil rat leader, which is a crazy, crazy plot for the movie, but I'm not shocked about 1970 and that being a plot. Um, some people say that it was about Michael Jackson's rat that he did, and they did show that in the movie. I didn't see really anything to back that up, but it could be. I didn't see any evidence to back that up, but man, that would be kind of cool too. So that's Ben. That's Ben. Oh, such a good song. Number three, they had a Jackson 5 cartoon series in the 70s. I didn't know about the cartoon series. That was kind of cool. In 1976, a variety TV show ran for one season, and it included Janet Jackson, and it was called The Jacksons. So that ran for one season. You kind of see them doing like variety shows on in the movie, but I kind of wanted to add that in there. Also, this is the so number 5. This one is crazy, and it's kind of maybe going a little bit off of Michael Jackson for like a second. But in 1976 was when Jermaine Jackson left. And I did not know this, guys. Or maybe I heard it but forgot about it. Jermaine left and married Berry Gordy's daughter. So Berry Gordy was mentioned. He was super important in Michael Jackson's life and in the Jacksons, Jackson 5, Motown. But he was portrayed, but I did not know that Jermaine married his daughter. And that was also when Jermaine decided to stay in Motown. So Jermaine had a top 10 hit with the song Let's Get Serious in 1980, and it was co-written and produced by Stevie Wonder. So that was just really kind of cool. I think I knew parts of that, but I forgot, and it was kind of good to remind myself. Anyway, that's kind of just little tidbits and facts about what we kind of missed. I also really quickly wanted to name some of my favorite songs that from just the Jacksons that I feel like they didn't have much time to add, or they didn't add it at all. So number 1 is Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. How did they miss that one? I don't know. Maybe it was in the credits and I didn't hear it. But it needed to be mentioned in the movie, I thought. I think that's one of the biggest Jackson songs. Anyway, I love that song. Number 2, Can You Feel It? That is a song that I am always like, I don't really know if I know that. And then I hear 0.5 seconds of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I know this song. Of course I know this song. Number 3, This Place Hotel, aka Heartbreak Hotel. I did recently learn that that was in the credits. I think I missed that for some reason, somehow, or I forgot. But that was in the credits. Number 4 was Lovely One. So those are just kind of ones that I was like, oh, I like those songs and I wish they were in the movie. But the rest of the major songs I thought were listed in the movie. Okay. One thing that a major question I had the entire movie, I was watching and I was like, where's Diana Ross? Wait, when are they going to show the Wiz? So, Diana Ross, if you don't know anything about Diana Ross, go look into her life. She was with the Supremes, right? Wait, hold it. I have to fact check because I don't. Okay, wait, 1 second. Okay, Diana Ross, I doubted myself, and I don't know why I doubted myself. Diana Ross was in the Supremes. It's literally called Diana Ross in the Supremes. She just wants to get her name out there. So, yes. So, if you don't know anything about Diana Ross, please go check out her. She is Motown. She had her own solo career. And she was giant in Michael's life. The Wiz. The Wiz is a adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz. And so Diana Ross played Dorothy, and Michael was the Scarecrow. So, and this is a huge movie that he did. It was his biggest movie. I mean, you have your side things like Captain EO, which was a great thing, and he did that really well. And but I mean, it wasn't as big as The Wiz. I guess as big as a part as The Wiz. And then he was also in Men in Black 2? 2, am I right with that? Which was crazy. I mean, a little cameo, but I had to mention that, of course. Um, but those were The Wiz was gigantic. I actually love The Wiz. I learned about it and watched it in middle school for the first time, and my little theater kid brain went, "He's in here, and she's in here. Oh my gosh, this is amazing." So anyway, I loved it. But here are some things, or here's what I gathered about why Diana Ross was not portrayed in the movie. So, they actually casted actress Kat Graham to play Diana Ross and shot the scenes, but it did not make the final cut due to, quote, legal considerations. So they had Diana Ross portrayed in the movie, and they had to cut it. And Diana Ross is gigantic for, as I mentioned, gigantic for Michael Jackson's success, if not just a pivotal part of Michael Jackson. I mean, literally the first album of the Jackson 5 is literally called Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. She loves to put her name in front of everything. She really does. So, I mean, she's just gigantic. So, in his life. So they met in 1969 when Michael Jackson was younger. They have a 10-year age gap. So he called her like a second mother. And there's a lot of speculation on whether this relationship is a good or a bad thing. And I'm gonna let you do that on your own. I'm just really leading you. And then I was like, no, 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 you gotta do that. You gotta do that. I do not have time to get into that whole thing. So that is you making your own opinion on that. And that's what I'm gonna say. In the movie, it seemed like Quincy Jones just kind of showed up. He was just like with Michael one day. I was kind of confused because I was like, oh, Quincy Jones, but wait, we're missing something. So actually, Quincy knew Michael before The Wiz, but through the Wiz and Diana, they got connected again. So Quincy knew Michael, but without that reconnection throughout The Wiz, the album Off the Wall would not be produced. Thriller, I mean, giant part as well. And that's Diana. That's their meet was because of Diana. So, I mean, that's a giant moment as well. They also didn't mention Studio 54. So Studio 54 was a club in New York that he would go to while shooting The Wiz, and he would go with Diana Ross. I guess they kind of portrayed that in the movie ish. Like they portrayed kind of the dance scene. They portrayed Don't Stop Till You Get Enough at like people were dancing at a club. And I thought they were just portraying the club scene in the 70s, and I think they were, but some people say that was Studio 54, and you could think that that's Studio 54. I don't know, but it wasn't confirmed. If that makes any sense. So that was also not mentioned. I did put some pictures of Michael Jackson in at Studio 54 and in the description or the references, and you can also find him with Diana Ross too. And Kat Graham, the actress who was Diana, you can find pictures of her in makeup and costume for playing Diana at Studio 54. I mean, they absolutely shot everything. But again, had to take it all out, which is crazy. So that's really why you see so many gaps in the movie. Oh, especially until after Off the Wall. That is a giant chunk that just had to be taken out. And that's just sometimes what happens. I would definitely absolutely look into Diana Ross's career. Hopefully you would know at least a few songs by her, just because how big her music is, and The Wiz. I would definitely look into The Wiz and how the casting process went and everything that goes with that. It's incredibly interesting. So I would look at that as well. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about Off the Wall. So the album Off the Wall. It was released August 10th, 1979. I absolutely love this album. I mean, this is a disco dance album. This is disco, guys. It is a wonderfully blended and genre bending record. It's just a mix of funk, disco, and R&B, and it is making this pop album that just broke racial barriers. It just absolutely is breaking racial barriers. And this album features songwriting from big names like Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney. So you have these big names, this gigantic record, and this is just his first, this is launching his career. So Off the Wall, here's some like maybe statistics. Off the Wall became the first solo album to have 4 hits in the top 10 on the Billboard Top 100 chart. So he had 4 of the top 10 songs in the top 100 chart. Michael won his first Grammy in the category of Best R&B Vocal Performance for the song Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, which that song was done so well in the movie. It was so good. The album has sold over 20 million copies worldwide. So just insane. I mean, this is an insane album. I said it launched his solo career, and every one of Michael Jackson's albums is a mandatory top to bottom listen. This is just you have just such dance, feel good songs, and then you have the songs like She's Out of My Life, which is this really gorgeous ballad. I love it. It's just gorgeous. So, the song Girlfriend, also in the album, this is like my sister's go-to karaoke song. And for a while, I was just like, Morgan, this song is fine. Like, this song is, it's fine. And then I would find myself playing it in the car by myself and listening to it on repeat. And I never told her this. So if she listens to this podcast, Morgan, you were right. That song is really good. Oh, man. Okay. Anyway, the songs that were my favorite that were not mentioned in the movie, they were one, Rock With You? How? How was that not in the movie at all? It might have been in the credits. I don't know. But I have no clue how that song was just missed entirely. I am floored by that. Number 2, Off the Wall. Great song. Come on now. Title track. I mean, such a great disco album. Get on the Floor. Great disco song. Girlfriend. And Burn This Disco Out. Come on now. Great. If you want to dance, that's the album. Okay. Here are 2 things that the movie portrayed, but were slightly off. And I just wanted to clear it up because they're a little slightly off. Okay. Michael actually broke his, sorry, Michael actually had his first nose job. Whoa. Michael actually had his first nose job in 1979 because he broke it during a dance rehearsal. Then in 1980, he had another one because he was unhappy with the first and he was having complications with breathing. So you're kind of seeing, it seems like this is his first nose job, which it wasn't. In the movie, that's kind of how it's portrayed, as this is his like first time. And they also did mention him that he did have, like Joe Jackson was like, oh, come here, I want to see your nose. He's like, it's for my sinuses, which part of that was true. And also, he was called Big Nose his whole life. And that is true. That's in interviews and stuff. So that's just, yeah. So I want to clear that part up. Also, Bubbles, the chimpanzee, was mentioned and was in the movie, but a lot earlier in the timeline. So Bubbles was actually born in 1983. So they kind of moved that part up, so the timeline up, so that he could be in the movie, which I did like to see Bubbles. That was really exciting for me. But they did move that up but everything else about Bubbles was true. He was rescued from an animal testing facility, and so I just wanted to clear that up super fast. Okay. The Thriller album is next. Oh, my Lord. I'm excited. Okay. This was released in November 1982. I really liked how they built up the whole album in general. I really liked how they did this in the movie. They hit important moments with Beat It and how that music video came about and the cultural significance of that music video. One quick little fun fact is Eddie Van Halen. So from the band Van Halen, he was the lead guitarist. So Eddie Van Halen actually did the guitar solo for Beat It as a favor for Quincy Jones. It took about 20 to 30 minutes and he didn't take any credit for it. He literally was like, he didn't tell his bandmates. He was just like, I'm just going to do it really fast. He really didn't take favors. And I heard it was also, my dad told me that in exchange, he just wanted a pack of beer. He just wanted a 6-pack. I couldn't find anything about that except for like a few YouTube videos, but I just love that fact. And I wouldn't know that without my dad. So thank you, Dad. And that's just a quick little fun fact. Okay. Wanna Be Startin' Something was intertwined in the trailer and the start of the movie, and I thought they did that really well for a song that they just didn't have enough time, but it was just intertwined really well, and I was really happy that it was included. Human Nature. Oh my gosh, that was a major moment in the movie, and we will definitely be talking about that. Don't you worry. All week I have been just singing. I hope this doesn't get taken down, but will it? I don't even want to say it. But if you've seen the movie, yeah. Anyway, I really liked it. It was really well done. Okay. And throughout the movie, I really liked how it built up really nicely to the song Thriller and how iconic that song and the music video was. I liked how they just showed he was like in the recording studio and he's working on other things, and then he'd be watching like a horror movie and he'd be like, okay. I just liked that. And there are definitely more things to go with Thriller and how that came about. And I don't have time. I don't have time either. That would be there's just so many things. But you can definitely go into that. Okay. I mean, Thriller crushed. The album crushed, the song crushed. It's still crushing to this day. Literally right now. Literally right now. So, fast forwarding a little bit, we're moving forward to 1984. You saw a quick glimpse of the 1984 Grammys, but I need to emphasize how groundbreaking that night was. You probably have seen, if you know Michael Jackson or know just a little bit, you've probably seen him in the picture of him with like his sunglasses and he's holding his 8 Grammys. He won that night alone 8 Grammys. In that time, it was a record. I mean, that was a record-breaking night. Since then, in 2000, Santana has tied with him, getting 8 records in the same night as well. But I mean, you still see that picture. I don't see Santana. I love Santana, by the way, but I don't really see Santana holding the 8 Grammys like Michael Jackson did. But and I've seen videos from that night. There's videos of him. I love the videos of him like I said if I won this Grammy, I'd take off my glasses and then there's just girls screaming the whole entire time, which is not out of the ordinary, but it's just crazy to see. You also see videos of him being like, I want to thank all my brothers. I want to thank all my brothers, including Jermaine. And I've been seeing that back to back everywhere. And I was so kidding, like, why does he always want to include Jermaine? And he says that throughout his entire career, really. And it's because Jermaine left, stayed in Motown, and then came back. Anyway, but I just like that. But along with breaking records with the Grammys, it also broke records like it stayed at number 1 for 37 weeks on the Billboard charts. Okay? It had 7 top 10 singles. So your 7 out of all the top 10s were just Thriller. Just Thriller album songs. Thriller album songs, okay. And it was the best-selling album of all time, going platinum 34 times. Unheard of. Crazy. I mean, seriously. Sadly, okay, here's where it kind of goes down, but it'll go back up. See? It since then has lost the top spot in the US to the Eagles' greatest hits. Love the Eagles' greatest hits. But widely known as the best-selling album of all time. So Thriller is still to this day, if you ask people, what was the best-selling album of all time? Most people will probably say Thriller. Isn't that cool that you technically got out, like, beaten out? Is that right saying? By somebody else, but you're still recognized as that? It's just cool. I just liked it. And I loved how they showed with Mike Myers, love, how Michael got onto MTV and how that also broke racial barriers. It was just cool. I loved how they showed that, but on MTV, the video, specifically Thriller, was the longest running video, being 13 minutes and 42 seconds. You're just breaking records left and right. I mean, and if you're not listening to Thriller on Halloween, what are you doing? I love the Thriller song, and I know every word, of course, but I did not watch the music video as a kid because I thought it was too scary. Which now I'm like, that's 80s scary. Like, I bet that was decently scary in the 80s, but now that's nothing. But yeah. Anyway, that being said, Michael Jackson is on another level than any artist ever. I mean, I'm trying to even think of artists now that would be like widely known, and there's very few, and still not as big as Michael Jackson. And the movie said there will never be anyone like him ever again, and it's true. And okay, some of the songs that were not featured, so kind of just the rest of the songs on the album. Um, PYT, Pretty Young Thing. How again? How'd you not at least put a clip in that? But I get it. You gotta do a lot. The Girl Is Mine, featuring Paul McCartney, which in the next podcast episode, we will get the next Michael Jackson podcast episode. We will get into why probably Paul McCartney did not want to be featured in the movie, for sure. Baby Be Mine, and The Lady in My Life. So that's kind of the rest of the album. So that's the Thriller album. Insane. Moving on to the Motown 25. So we're moving on, but we're kind of like, I wanted to do Thriller in a chunk. Motown 25 was 83. So we're going back to 83. Thriller, 82. Motown, and then the Grammys. You know, I just kind of wanted to clear that up just a smidge. Okay. So moving on to the Motown 25th anniversary performance. Jafar Jackson, so Michael Jackson's nephew, who played Michael Jackson, knocked the socks off of this. I mean, this is incredibly so, what's the word? Impressive. Oh my gosh. This is so impressive how he did this. He did this performance frame for frame like the original. Frame for frame. I mean, I put in the description, or in my references that I put down there, I put a part of the performance side by side so you can see, like, I think Jafar's is up here and then Michael Jackson's is below, and you get it like a little bit. I don't think they can do the whole thing right now, but I mean, it is insane the way. It's just really incredible. But here's what they did not include about the performance. So Berry Gordy, who we know, Motown, wanted to get Motown artists together to celebrate 25 years of the label. He wanted all the Jackson 5 brothers to come together and perform their hits. But as the movie portrayed, and you might have guessed, Michael Jackson did not want to do it. He was done. He was like, I'm going to do my solo career. But you really can't perform or do a tribute concert without Michael. You can't have the Jackson 5 perform, or the Jacksons, or you can't have anything Jackson related without Michael Jackson. And you can't have Motown without Michael Jackson. So Berry Gordy, so he agreed to perform, but under one condition, that he could do a solo set after he sang with his brothers. So he's like, I'll sing with my brothers, but you got to give me a solo set. And Berry Gordy was not necessarily on board with that, because Michael Jackson wanted to perform Billie Jean. And Billie Jean is not a Motown song. So he was doing the thing of like, okay, do I have without Michael Jackson? But none of this is, but how would I do without Michael Jackson? And for the success of this performance and this anniversary performance, you have to have Michael Jackson. So he agreed. He was just like, let Michael Jackson do what he needed to do. And so he did. I'm saying Michael Jackson a lot. Anyway, the Motown 25th anniversary performance was on March 25th, 1983. If you watch this performance, I also put this in the link. watch this performance. You can tell Michael Jackson knew that this was his like he walks out and he's just giving everything he's like we're no no he is. I just think it's crazy because he's just out front and center the whole entire time. And this absolutely launched Michael Jackson into superstar status. If I mean, he's already a superstar with Thriller and everything, but this is like another hit. And I didn't mention Billie Jean because I was going to mention it now. It's an insane watch. Watch this. I mean, this is where we would first see the moonwalk, his signature moonwalk, which he made famous, but he watched so many other people do the moonwalk before. Like he just made this a moment and he made it famous. And we also see his toe stand for the first time. And if you watch the performance, I mean, he like kind of slipped during the toe stand, and they mention that in the movie. They say like Michael Jackson or Jafar said, I was supposed to stand on my toes longer. And you can kind of see that he slipped a little bit, but it's not really mentioned. It's really not that big of a deal. But to Michael on the day, it was a big deal. Michael Jackson, after that performance, he was backstage crying because he thought he messed up his moment. Also, I can imagine that you just have this adrenaline of like rushing through you, especially when the stakes are so high. So he just was a mess, and they didn't really mention that. They didn't really mention that whole thing. They kind of said that like, oh, I'm supposed to stand on my toes longer, but it was not to the extent that Michael felt on the night. So, I mean, it's still an iconic performance. It is so cool. I was blown away by it, especially Jafar doing it. It was crazy. Okay. The next thing the movie didn't include, which is kind of a doozy, honestly. After the Motown 25 performance, we see Joe Jackson and Don King. So they're in like that room, like smoking cigars. And Don King we kind of see that he's a scam artist and that he literally doesn't work in the music industry at all. And Joe Jackson and Don King want to do the victory tour. So they want to do this victory tour. And so I was kind of trying to piece it together as well. So after the Motown performance, there was a ton of buzz around Michael and also the Jacksons and their popularity, and they're growing. So going into 1984, I was kind of confused because I was like, okay, the victory tour. Okay, but we're missing things. So in 1984, Jackson Brothers made an album called Victory. So that is why the tour is called the Victory Tour. So that kind of clears that part off. I was kind of confused. This was also the first and only album to feature all 6 of the brothers. So this was Joe Jackson was like, I'm going to get some money off of this. And as you could have guessed, Michael does not want to do this album. And if you listen to the album, he is barely on it. He is not really on it. And I mean, I watched the video Torture. So Torture is a song on the album Victory. Michael Jackson is literally a wax figure in the music video. He's not even there. He's not even there. And the tour was a wreck. I mean, Don King and Joe Jackson, very money hungry, which you see very obviously. They made tickets so hard to get. So they were very expensive, especially for the time. I mean, tickets now and tickets back then, you're paying dollars. you could see big artists for $12, and he's making these tickets very hard to get. And you had to get them in sets of 4. You couldn't just go buy a ticket. You had to get them in sets of 4. And you had to be on you had to mail in requests. So you couldn't just go to the box office or whatever to get these tickets. You had to request tickets through the mail. So it made it, the fans were super upset because they were not accessible. It seemed like it was just so hard. It was just really hard for the fans. And all that blame went to Michael Jackson, even though it was Joe Jackson's fault and his doing. So, with that crazy, I mean, ticket sales now and ticket prices now are crazy, but back then it was unheard of to spend that much money on a ticket. And to put the icing on the cake, they didn't sing a single song from the Victory album on the Victory tour. Not a single song was sang from that album, which the tour was named after. Crazy. But I really loved the way that they showed the last show of the Victory tour. I mean, Human Nature was on point. You have just, it's so wonderful. And I've actually tried to find a recording of that version. I thought they would put that on like the new Michael soundtrack that they released on like Spotify and everything. But I can't find it because it's just so good. This Human Nature was so perfect. I mean, if you watch footage of Michael Jackson singing it, it's almost identical. So cool. It's so good. And the hits, the beats, it's just incredible. And that made confirmed to me that if I was alive and I was seeing the Victory tour, I would have fainted. I would have absolutely fainted. If I saw Michael Jackson, I probably would have fainted. Yeah. Also, moving on to the last song of the tour that they portrayed, Workin' Day and Night. Incredible. So good. And if you watch him being like, okay, I want to thank you all. This is our last show. That is spot on as well. It's just spectacular. Going back to Human Nature a little bit, not only thinking about it, some people were like, guys, this is how nitpicky. I love it because I'm this way too. Some people were like, those are not the pants that Michael Jackson wore on the last night of the Victory tour. Okay, I actually couldn't find any backing to that. But guys, those were Michael Jackson did wear those pants on the Victory tour. And I think one of the brothers wore the same pair of pants too. So it's just kind of is funny to see how nitpicky people are. And I also love it because I'm the same way. So I loved how the Victory tour ended, how he walked off the stage. It was great. And then you just hear bad. And it is a killer way to end the movie. So well done. But they like skip to the bad tour. And they miss everything. They miss everything. But I cannot imagine that they would not put that in part 2. I cannot imagine that they would miss things like Smooth Criminal and Man in the Mirror, The Way You Make Me Feel. I mean, those are, even if they just put in those music videos, those are gigantic. I mean, it's just incredible. So I can't imagine that they would skip those. So therefore saying that I'm not going to be covering bad at all. No, no, why are you doing that? Why are we doing that? No, don't do that. Guys, first of all, the, I'm praying and going off the assumption that they're just going to do that. They just kind of have to for my sake. Also for our sake. I think people would be so angry if they didn't even touch on the bad album. What? So there's going to be a second movie. But anyway, going from what's in the movie right now, I'm really hoping that I was able to fill in the gaps. I will be doing a part 2 either before the movie comes out or after the next movie comes out. I don't know, but it cannot come soon enough and they should start filming. Guys, can we start filming the next one? Please. I think they have, because if you look at the original Michael trailer, you see parts that were not in the movie. So, I think I am almost 100% positive that they've done at least something. I mean, okay. Anyway, but before I end this episode, let me fill you in on what has been happening the past 2 weeks with Michael Jackson. Oh my gosh. Incredible. The Michael movie has broken the record for the biggest biopic opening and highest grossing music biopic opening ever. So, biggest biopic opening and highest grossing musical biopic opening ever. So you have Oppenheimer and Bohemian Rhapsody. Those previously hold the record. So Oppenheimer is the biggest biopic opening and Bohemian Rhapsody. And it's crazy because if I'm not mistaken, the Bohemian Rhapsody director did the Michael movie too. So it's just, and Bohemian Rhapsody is crazy. So if you haven't seen that either, I will always plug that movie. Also, as of this month, so May, what is the date, guys? I'm May 8th. I'm doing this on May 8th. May 8th, 2026, Michael Jackson has become the number one artist across Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. He is the first artist in history to be in the top 10 of the Billboard Top 100 in 6 different decades. And you always see this. Sadly, guys, spoiler alert. Sadly, after somebody passes, especially music, I mean, we saw it with Prince. I saw it. I saw it with Prince. I saw it with Wham and George Michael. You just see that after somebody dies, you listen to their music more. But nobody's done this. This is just still breaking records to this day. It's crazy. And there's a major resurgence of Billie Jean and Thriller. So it's literally, he has passed. He has passed and he's still breaking records. And also, we haven't even hit some of his biggest albums, some of his biggest songs. We haven't even touched on them, period. Okay. I'm really chill about it. I'm so excited for the next movie. I'm so thankful that they're doing another movie. I was kind of freaking out. Also, this movie, I didn't think that this was a long movie. I was not waiting for it to be over. I was like, oh my gosh, wait, what time is it? And it just ended and I was like, oh, I could have watched part 2 just sitting there. And usually I get a little antsy, but I was not. So that concludes everything that was in the Michael biopic and filling in the gaps. Man, lots of stuff. I hope that you guys understood this all. It was a lot. But if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. So this is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube as of this moment. And you can also find it on the Notes and Nostalgia Instagram. So just let me know if there's stuff I missed. I know that there's stuff I've missed. I can't fill it in everything, but this has just been so fun. I've really enjoyed um doing research for it, learning a ton. So go down rabbit holes. Also, I've been going down rabbit holes about just Michael Jackson's funniest moments. They're so good. They are so good. There's one that I really like. There's just him being like, he's in like a limousine. It's like, we be illin'. It's so good. I hope that that doesn't get taken down. I I love it. There's also just so many of him being like, there's one with him with Latoya, and he's like, she's like, hey Bill, can you shut that door? And he looks over and he's like, your voice is really very irritating. She goes, I know, I hate to scream. He goes, you sound like Carol Burnett. Just great. Also, it's just fun. So go down those little rabbit holes, watch his funniest moments. They're really funny. So anyway, okay. Guys, this has been Notes and Nostalgia. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm your host, Livy Walters, and I hope you learned something. And send me some fun moments that you remember from your life with Michael Jackson. And go watch the Michael biopic. Anyway, okay, thanks for listening. Bye.